He had learned long ago that broken things didn't get fixed, they just learned how to survive, and that was the truth Ethan Cole carried with him every time his boots hit the dust of another forgotten town, another ranch that needed a fence mended or cattle driven, another place where nobody asked questions because they didn't want answers, a truth forged the night his family's ranch burned to the ground and his father never made it out, leaving a 16-year-old boy holding ashes and guilt. Instead of a future, so Ethan grew into a man who believed roots were dangerous and promises even worse, a cowboy who slept under open skies because ceilings felt like traps and who worked harder than anyone because exhaustion kept the memories quiet, until the day he rode into Willow Creek with a horse limping just as badly as his own heart and met Clara Bennett, a woman who didn't look away when she saw the cracks in him, who owned a small struggling homestead at the edge of town and needed help repairing a barn that leaned like it was tired of standing, and Ethan planned to stay only long enough to earn a few dollars and disappear like always, but Clara was different from the start, not loud or dramatic, just steady, the kind of woman who carried loss in her eyes but still chose kindness every morning, a widow who had buried her husband 2 winters ago and learned that loneliness could be loud even in daylight, and when she offered Ethan supper instead of suspicion, a place to sleep. Instead of questions, something in him resisted and leaned in at the same time, because her kitchen smelled like warmth and her voice didn't try to fix him, it simply accepted his silence. Days turned into weeks as he worked the land with a focus that bordered on punishment, fixing fences, teaching her how to handle stubborn horses, laughing once, just once, when she teased him about talking more to animals than people, and it scared him how quickly Willow Creek began to feel less like a stop and more like a home, because homes could burn and people could leave, and when Clara finally told him the truth one evening as the sun bled gold across the fields, her hands trembling as she admitted the bank was threatening to take her land unless she could prove stability, a husband on paper, a future that looked respectable, Ethan thought she was asking him to save her. But instead she surprised him by offering him something he had never been brave enough to want, a marriage of convenience, no lies, no romance required, just 2 broken people helping each other stand, and the offer hit him harder than any fist because it wasn't pity in her eyes, it was respect, and he said no at first, because loving meant losing and staying meant risking everything he had learned to run from. But that night he dreamed of the fire again and woke up realizing that running hadn't saved him then and it wasn't saving him now. So he went back to Clara at dawn, voice rough, heart pounding, and said yes. With conditions, honesty above all, space when needed, and no expectations of forever, and Clara agreed because she understood survival too. The wedding was quiet, almost invisible, 2 witnesses, no dress, no celebration, yet something changed the moment Ethan spoke the words, not outside, but inside him, because for the first time he wasn't leaving after the job was done. Months passed and the fake marriage slowly became something dangerously real, shared breakfasts, shared worries, shared victories when the crops grew stronger and the barn stood straight again, and Ethan found himself talking about his father, about the fire, about the guilt that had shaped him, and instead of flinching, Clara listened, reminding him that a boy who tried to save his family wasn't a failure, just human, and when the bank finally approved the loan and Clara told him he was free to go, that the deal was done, Ethan realized he didn't want freedom if it meant going back to being alone, so he did the hardest thing a broken man can do. He asked to stay, not because he had to, but because he wanted to build something that wouldn't burn, and the future they built wasn't perfect, it was honest, full of hard work and quiet love, proof that broken pasts don't have to define tomorrow, only inform it, and if this story of healing, second chances, and love earned through trust touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because every story you support helps keep these voices alive. These lessons shared, and these futures still waiting to be built.